The mask is off, brothers and sisters. The mask is off. The masquerading as angels of light, the whole world can see. They really are and become more evident every day. It's been exposed. We are. Yes, he does. Speak for itself. He loves it here.
I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America believe? I believe that America can be beautiful. How can America be made beautiful? Now, family, listen. My brother Imam Wadafuddin and I have had disagreement, but his followers and mine have never given each other as much as a bloody nose. Because in spite of our differences, there's a deep love in us. We don't like the things about our nation that is not good, but I don't want to live anywhere else. I want America to be made right. I don't want to see America go the way of Rome and Babylon and Sodom and Gomorrah. But why won't she go that way? If the men of religion and the women of religion keep silent.
$5,000. Cash payment to anyone who can prove that what lying son of a devil Farrakhan is preaching is consistent with the lessons, supreme wisdom, of Master Fard Muhammad Elijah Muhammad's representation of his teacher Master Fard's teachings.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Message of the Covenant, break of the 7 seals. Oh boy, what is going on? First of all, to address this, still haven't stepped forward. They're nervous. They're all over the place now. I expect a violent act anytime soon. This to that. AI. Make up some AI porn or something, put my face on it. Now, there was a hint Sunday, but I know you didn't catch the hint. I'm not going to tell you what it was. They made a hint Sunday, so I know that's coming too. They're gonna pull out all the punches because they're nervous. See, when you get desperate, your back's against the wall. Start swinging off. Nothing worse than a corner cat. His back up like in a bow. And he starts coming. So one of them get on dog's head face one time. Dog head in the corner. The cat was up there, back all up, his hair all standing up right. He was scared. He jumped in that dog head. He was tearing dogs. That dog was running down the street. And the cat was like, oh, tearing his head up, boy. They're coming. They're desperate. I'm warning people, no one's paying attention. See, they're going to pull out all stuff, everything they got, they're going to throw in a minute. You paying attention to what's going on? I'm going to talk about those things today. Tribulation, phase 3. That's why I tell people if they study pressure, like I told them to do, they don't need the angel to see what's going on right now. Look what's going on in America. There's a turmoil right now. Trump's coming out. Oh, we're going to get all the Somalis out of here. There's no way saying that's just a prelude to get all the niggas out of here. They got near Civil War going on right now. States. Against each other. People against each other. And the little Gestapo running around here across the ice. Well, look at all the drama that's going on here. I told you before, I told you a while back, that it's not about immigration. That's training, because they're coming after you. All this is training. That, Gaza, genocide, killing people, rounding people. Where do you think these people get trained at? They train them over in false Israel. Please, why are they training them over there? It's all set for you. If you're going to match, you got to train first, don't you? You train against dummies before you go to the real thing. It says they're planning. The scripture tells you, see, these people are not with Farrakhan because of scripture. They're not. Because there's no scripture that support anything that he said. They cannot tell you they're with Farrakhan because of God, of course, scripture, because of religion. They cannot tell you that because they cannot find anything in the Quran or Bible that supports what Farrakhan is saying and supports him being as who he claims to be. There's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. That's why they won't claim it's $5,000, because they can't find no scripture that supports Farrakhan. Nothing. Zero. If they could, they would collect that $5,000. They're not with Farrakhan because of scripture. Not because of him, because of religion. There's nothing in the Quran that supports Farrakhan. Nothing. If they can't come at you $5,000, show me something that verifies him being who he claims to be. Nothing. There's nothing. Don't be sending me no nasty grams on your bullshit. Just step forward and show me the verse. Any verse that supports what he claims to be. That's why you don't step and get a 5,000. You should be all over this. This should be easy. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. That's why I told everyone. It says, study pressure. When we study pressure, you would see right now, America's under intense pressure. America's got the whole world heated up. The world, I mean, you ever seen it as high as it is now? He just said he don't care about international law. He's totally rogue. We're going to talk about that a little more in a minute. He's talking about attacking his own friends in Greenland, NATO. You say, well, is there something wrong with him? No, there's nothing wrong with him. You see, they say, oh, he represents what America really is. If you understand pressure, you understand that. No, he's just exposing what America really is. Because they hide, they got masks on everything else. See, the mask pull off because he is what America really is. When you look at him, that's what America really is. They've been hiding from you, but now it's exposed. I said, the scripture says they're going to pull this skirt above their head and show their nakedness. So they walk around and, and you think they hide who they are. And then he comes along, and the mask is pulled off. And when you see him, that's who America really is. These white folks really are. See? So they get hide behind, who's elected them? That's one thing about so-called democracy. You can't say, hey, man, that's a bad leader. Hey, how did he get there? The majority rule put him there? That's one of the traps of democracy. See? You don't understand the wisdom we put into all this. See? We inspired them to build democracy. See, if they had a king, here, it'd been impossible to judge them. Because you can judge the king. And they say, hey, that's the king. We have to obey the king. See, they can put off on the king. I tell you, brother, you don't understand the wisdom of what we did here. We want them to have a democracy. So people can say, hey, y'all are blame. Y'all voted for him. So everybody is guilty of whatever the leader does because he represents you. That's now you can judge the nation. You couldn't judge if there was a king there. You have to judge the king because maybe the people don't want to go along with it. The king is forced them to go along with it. But if you got a democracy, you can clearly judge this nation. We want them to have a democracy. Thank you, democracy. You understand? It's just like, why they bring us over here? I shouldn't get into that right now. Like I said, I could be talking for hours. I got so much to say, but because the gods are going to be formed right here under all this intense pressure. But we don't want no road gods. They get this knowledge, but nobody said, look, if you follow the 5 pillars, it doesn't say nothing about you have to be polite, you have to be nice, you have to be civil, nothing about that. It's just raw power. See? So what if you get that? But you're rogue. You want to rape and all that kind of stuff, right? Whatever. Anyway, you're problematic. That's why the Lamb has to pick you. You have to go through a screening process. And those ones taken out of here. And so, if you don't pass that screening process, the angel, then you have all that power, but you have to be here, stay here with it, because that power won't give you the ability to fly. Won't get the ability to swim across the ocean. See right here. And you stay right here. And when they burn this place up, you'll be right here with it. But we're not allowing you to come over home with your bullshit. Empowered. If you understand, I don't know. That's why I put more here. So we take you out here and hey, now, how you want to get out of here? Don't have to bother worry about you anymore. See, this thing will be perfect. That's why I keep telling people to understand. You can't fuck around with this. You got to make sure your words are right. Everything is right. This was planned down to the... Wait. See? Planned. Every bit of it, every step of the way. You out here just saying anything, whatever. Well, all you're going to do is you end up staying here too. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Tribulation, phase 3. We'll get that in a minute, brothers and sisters. Damned. Here we go. Let me move. Oops. Move this way. This is part of what I'm talking about here, brothers and sisters. This has no bearings to Elijah, but they claim Elijah. I explain to you, Elijah uses a bait. For those ones, they have to annihilate, right, Elijah's message. So those who's carrying Elijah's message? By definition, people that's with Elijah. So that's the ones you got to track. So if you want to track mullet, you got to have bait for mullet. You know, track sharks, you have bait for sharks. So they got to snuff out Elijah's message. So you got to use a bait because that's what Farrakhan said. Oh, I'm with Elijah. I'm with Master Muhammad. And all you got to do is look at what Elijah says and what the lessons, and you see it bears no resemblance to what he's saying. But he used that, and people run it, oh yeah. Because they think they're getting Elijah. What they're doing is getting a hook. They end up in a frying pan, their brain totally fried. They tell them I'm wrong. See? Oh yeah, we planned everything, but the devils ain't stupid either. They're not stupid. It tells you. You know the depths of Satan? They're trying to survive. Your expense. Let's move on, brothers and sisters.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flager as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor,
yes, sir,
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man. I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Flager as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is, you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir.
Sad, brothers and sisters, has nothing to do with Elijah. Somebody got cut off a little bit, but I think you heard it before. Nothing had nothing to do with Elijah. In fact, it's totally against everything Elijah's mama taught. I was there, a witness. The debate is, I'm teaching Elijah's teachers. I'm a master from Muhammad. See? So they pull you in. Hey, they with Elijah. Let's go over there. It's debate. Then you get a hook. Scientology. There ain't devils anymore. Get your brain fried. Your mind destroyed. That's the purpose. Because you can't show me anything that Farrakhan's doing represent Elijah Muhammad's teachings. None, zero. If you can't, come and get your $5,000. Move on.
Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement? And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Okay, brothers and sisters, let's look into that. What the question statement was, they were to believe in part of the book and disbelieve in the other. So let's go over that quickly and see if they're guilty of that. Unless you say God's a liar, because that's what he says. He said, for them it's the most grievous chastisement. Take a look at it. Let's look at this messenger of covenant. What's that? Look at it.
Malachi 3:1. Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me, and the Lord, whom ye seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts.
Okay. You ever heard a messenger of covenant before? You ever heard a messenger of the covenant before? You ever heard Farrakhan ever mention the messenger of covenant? No, because they tell you the messenger that they speak right there, top line. That's Elijah Muhammad. They say that's Elijah. They say he's the last messenger. No messenger coming after him. That's it. He's eternal leader, a nation of Islam. Wait a minute. What about the next sentence? Who's that messenger? And God tells you he's coming. He's coming to Elijah's temple. Means he'll be a contemporary of Elijah. He would come in Elijah's presence, his temple. And that's the one you should be seeking. It says it right there. But hey, is God wrong? They never mention that part, do they? They believe in part of the book, but they disbelieve in the other. Have you ever heard him mention? No. But God says he's coming. So who is he? Who is this messenger of the covenant that that's not Elijah, because Elijah is the first messenger who prepares the way. So who is this messenger of the covenant? They never mention at all. Let's proceed. Well, if he's a messenger of the covenant, well, what covenant is he a messenger of? Let's look at this covenant. I mean, if you're seeking him, so what covenant is, what is that covenant? It might be something you want because you're seeking him for it. Let's see what that covenant is.
Genesis 15:12. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and, lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. 13. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. 14. And also that nation, whom they shall serve, will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance.
Okay. They talk about that part, don't they? But they don't mention, they come out, well, they do. They mention the great substance too. They mention this part, don't they? Don't emphasize that last part, but they do mention it, right? Okay, let's see what the rest of it says. They say mention the whole thing.
Genesis 15:18. In the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates.
Okay. How can you mention this part? You heard, he said, we're not going, first of all, it said God's a liar because it said Elijah's the last one. So he said, ain't no messing the covenant, right? If God, Elijah's the last one, they ain't no messing the covenant. So they call God a liar right there, and they call him a liar here too. But he says, we're going home and tell you where. But Farrakhan said, we're not going anywhere. We're not going nowhere. So they don't mention this part. They mention the other part, they don't mention this part. So why they don't mention the covenant, and why don't they mention the covenant? They believe part of the book and disbelieve the other. Okay, so let's go a little further here. What's the identity of this messenger of the covenant? What's the identity of the messenger of the covenant? You want to know that, right? Because you're seeking him, you want to know who he is. Well, who she is, or whatever, you want to know who the person is, right? Let's take a look.
Now after the death of Moses the servant of the Lord it came to pass, that the Lord spake unto Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, To Moses my servant is dead, now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou, and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. 3. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses. 4. From the wilderness and this Lebanon even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun, shall be your coast.
Uh-oh. Don't mention that part. There's a message of covenant, right? That's going to get you home, right? He's going to come. And he's going to succeed. He's going to succeed Elijah, Moses. Now Aaron, they bypass Aaron. This Joshua person, which is really Jesus, that same name. The Joshua person, that's the Messiah. That's the one. But they never mention him, do they? You hear him mention Joshua? Oh, Aaron. Well, who is this person there? They haven't mentioned it. They don't mention the mention of the covenant. They don't mention the covenant. They don't mention the identity of the mention of the covenant, Joshua. Is that a coincidence? Either way, no matter how you cut it, they read part of the book and discipline the other. So you take it from there. It's more, brothers and sisters.
Five. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee.
In short, brothers and sisters, no one's going to blow your ass up with cancer, with radiation pills. Man, anybody ain't going to happen to you. Curse with a curse. Robbing the nation. Pissing and shitting in the bag. He wipe his own ass. That's Farrakhan. Move on, brothers and sisters. This is going to be a two-part, brothers and sisters, because we're in other technical issues today. A lot's been happening today. Tribulation. Let me talk about this. You know, have you been paying attention? Actually, woo. Oh, yeah, I got a little technical issue again. Hold on. Like I said, they're coming at me by all kinds of ways, but it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. Oh, boy. Okay. We talk about abomination, desolation again. That has happened. That started 2 years ago. So October 7th, that started abomination, desolation, where no one's talking about it. Because if you read it carefully, they cannot, because that will expose who they are. But if you look it up, it says abominations, the uprising was put down with great cruelty. Okay. Then uprising was what they call the people of Palestine. Who put it down? So-called false Israel. Not so-called false Israel. So they the ones cruel. And it says, when you see abomination, desolation, then their destruction is near. That means the cruel people, their destruction is near. That means false Israel is about to be destroyed. That's why I want to talk about abomination, desolation, because the way they've been interpreted for years before this happened, if you go back and look at it then, Nippy and all these people, when they do talk about abomination, desolation, they had it backwards. See, the way they had it was the Arabs was going to commit great cruelty upon the Jews. And so then the Jews, the Arabs, would be destroyed. See? Like Jesus. That's where they cast it. They had it backwards. But now they see the actual fact. They can't see it because that will reveal who false Israel is. See? Because they're the ones committing the abomination, not the Arabs. The Arabs are the victim. That's why they don't mention it. But it's going on right now. It says, if you don't notice it, you're going to be in trouble because it's a flashing yellow light. You get a warning. It's a warning, a big warning signal. But they put cover over it because if you see it, that'll wake you up. Because they've been saying it's the other way around. The abomination of desolation is a big yellow light flashing. They cover it up. So if you see a light, yellow light flash, you slow down. Be careful. If you don't, otherwise, it may turn red. Then you can take you into a big car crash. That's what I can't tell you. It's abomination. So I explained that to you. Abomination, then that would trigger the war. That would cause their destruction. And then they would pause during the war. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. Right? But I'm going to keep this short. But the thing is that, brothers and sisters, the pause is virtually over. It would have been over yesterday because all this, in other words, all that rioting and carrying on so-called rioting stuff going over in Iran, it turned out that was a prelude to an attack. To the end of the pause. Because it was false Israel's agents that was causing it. And then the Iranians figured it out. And they shut down the internet so they could communicate with the agents there. And so they was able to disable it. But during that time, right, that was phase one of it. Phase one of the strike on Iran. Follow-up. Phase two is while that was going on, they were going to attack. America was sending planes, they were going to attack. And they did. They sent the planes, they was about to attack. And then something spooked, you better go check it out. Something spooked Trump. They said, they pulled the planes back. They was actually getting ready to attack. Not getting ready, they was actually, the planes were on the way. And then something spooked him. In addition to that, the Arabs got nervous. They said, you can't fly over our country. Something spooked everybody. Something spooked them. Because if that had happened, the full-fledged war right now. Rand already told them, if you mess with us, we're going to blow up everything over here. We're going to blow up the whole Middle East. So they actually started. I told you they're gonna go back to war, but something spooked them. I wonder what could spook them. It could have been right after I went exposed, exact time of the phase was over. Right after the pause, remember the other day, I put the exact time the pause will be over, and then all of a sudden, whoop, they got spooked. Is there a connection there? So you don't understand what's going on. I can't say clearly a lot of things I can't say, brothers and sisters, because they react to it. Because you may not be paying attention, but they are. Something spooked them. Okay? Gotta be careful what I say. But that doesn't matter. Right? It's still going to happen because they say it right now, trying to regroup, trying to figure out another way to go at it. But they don't know what they're doing. They're fulfilling prophecy, and I can't speak any. I can't say any more than that. Can't say any more than that. But then they got spooked. We've been right. I mean, your whole life would be changed. You'd be so changed right now. But I said, once that war resumes, everything's going to change. So I'm spooked them because it was actually, like I said, that was all that rioting stuff that was set up by both Israel and America to destabilize them, to confuse them, and they were going to follow up with this actual attack. And the planes were in the air. And Trump called them back. Is that a coincidence? The timing is right because I told you this is what we are. This is what will be happening in this period of time. It's still going to happen. Leave it there. One time, not 6 months from now. If you pay attention, anyway, look what's going on here. Oh, they're in uproar. Governors of certain states at odds. Got civil war going. Trump coming clear all the time. All Somalis, you need to go home. Who's Somalians? Any black? Come on, brothers and sisters. You could see a lot of this just by understanding how pressure works. Right here. Remember, when did it was a couple of days ago? And then suddenly, riots break out over there. They said people was rebelling. Turned out it wasn't that. It was infiltrators and stuff sent over there. Bosses in America to stabilize the country, get under confusion, get riots going, get a civil war going. And while that was going on, while he's distracted, I was going to hit him, attack him. Something spooked him. Is that a coincidence between me telling him exactly? Maybe, maybe not. Something spooked him. Is this what spooked him? Oh man, he's saying the exact time. Maybe, you know. Go on, brothers and sisters. This is where we are right now. It says it sounds about half an hour. An hour is 6 months. An hour is a year, rather. 6 months, but it says about half hour. That means it won't be exact 6 months. It'll be maybe a little less than 6 months, or a little more 6 months. It could be 6 months in a day. It'll still be about. And so if you do the calculation, the war was in June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 6 months. That means it's already past 5 months. That's 6 months, so it has to be over. So that means January, even February. If it's one day in January, that's about 6 months, right? 1 week. We're 2 weeks in January now. And this happened, what, last week? Right on time. That's shaking up a lot of people. That was a perfect, exact prediction. Now, watch the weather. I'm thinking we're going and check. They found that all that rioting stuff, that was part of the plan to attack Iran. So that started. When did that start? January. And then it was actually on the follow-up, the planes attack. On the way, the planes are in the air. And some spook Trump, he said, oh, stop. No, don't do it. Some people got really upset. So if he hadn't stopped it, where do you think you'd be at right now? Because your life will change dramatically once it happens. And it's going to happen soon. So now they said, well, it's going to be later on this month. Okay. The problem is, it has resumed. You understand? Because now Iran knows they broke their pause. They attacked them. And for whatever reason, right? They got nervous. See? It's like somebody walk up to you, right? And they get ready. They're going to punch you, call your names and punch, but then, right? They hold, right? They don't actually hit you, but they hold their punch. So wait till they hit me. They pull their punch. But they're truly aggressive. They're really sure they had too much attempt to do. So maybe they pull their punch. They saw a police officer. That happened to me one time, you know. One time I was in New Jersey, right? I was out running. And this kind of did something. He put something way or something out there, right? He saw me running, and he pushed somebody, in my way. Like, someone went to grab the chump, and I looked over there, I saw a cop who was standing looking at me. I said, okay, I let it go, kept on going. That is actually how I thought about it. I remember that. Right? That's how I was about to jack him up, boy. What's your problem? I was about to fall over this thing. I forgot what it was. It was something he pushed in my way. I was about to fall over it. I said, what the hell is your problem? I grabbed the chump. I was going to smack the shit out of him. Right? And, and a grown man, wasn't no child. Right? So, I did. That was after I returned to New Jersey back in '83, I think it was, somewhere out there. And I look at the cop and said, he was watching. Whoa, might have hit him. Right? Anyway, he pulled a plug. So now they're saying, well, he's going to regroup, whatever. Anyway, we know we're in it. It's right on time. One brothers and sisters. Okay, I'm going to keep this short, brothers and sisters, but the tribulation. That's phase 3 of the tribulation. Phase 2, I says Armageddon. Armageddon leads right in tribulation. War in heaven leads into, as we get an apocalypse, it leads to the Armageddon. Armageddon leads to tribulation. Tribulation, Armageddon, right, triggers your rise. Because Armageddon is when they attack you, triggers your rise. But your rise, right, is going to cause a tribulation because you're going to have global resistance. Everybody's going to resist. That's why it's so terrible. It's unprecedented because you got the whole world is going to resist your rise. That's a tribulation. The whole world is going to resist your, because maker, owner, creator, planet Earth, God, universe, but you have nothing. You have nothing. You have your own name. You have your religion. You have nothing. And they have it all. They have it all. You got demon Farrakhan. He got your nation. They took that. Took everything. That's the only light you had. Elijah gave that light to you, and they took that, snuffed that out. Oh, don't tell me they snuffed out the light of Elijah, snuffed it out because he's not presenting. And these people that claim they were Elijah, they're lying too because they have no idea, because they probably seeking a message of covenant. Not so sure they're lying. They effectively snuffed out the light of Elijah. It says he would make, this mouth would make war with the saints overcome them. That means if he overcame, he snuffed out the light. Until the message of the covenant would come, consume him with spit of his mouth and destroy him. That's what it is. Tribulation is caused by you. It's resistance to your rise. Your rise is so powerful. Every action has a great equal reaction. That means your action is so great. That means your reaction is going to be so great because your action is going from nothing to everything. From nothing to everything. Let me say it again. From nothing to everything. It's all yours. You have nothing right now. That means how dramatic, and it's not going to take years to do it either. Dramatic. Tribulation. They have everything, and we have nothing. They're going to attack you. Abomination, desolation. That's Master Muhammad, right? His move on that is going to start your rise. People with a vision, people without vision perish. So you have to be, or your vision has to be reestablished. Muhammad gave you a vision, and Farrakhan took it away. Your vision was return home to the promised land, to get the hell out of here, out of control, out from under the foot of these devils. That was the vision. And Farrakhan take that vision away. You're not going nowhere. I like it here. Devils ain't devils no more. Elijah Muhammad gave you an accurate vision. It wasn't that sharp, but it was accurate. It wasn't that bright, but it was accurate. If you don't have you don't have a flashlight, a candlelight will do. So you have to you go from nothing, zero to 1 billion. You go from nothing, slaves, to nothing, to shit, to godhood over the entire universe. And they're in the way. And they're going to do all their power to stop you because your rise is their destruction, total destruction, total destruction. None of them will survive your rise. Because you're going to take it all back. That means they will have nothing. You're going to reverse the process, the great reset. You've been eating their shit, now they eat your shit forever. That's the tribulation. And the reason why it's so intense, because it's going to happen so suddenly. The process started with Master Muhammad, but you didn't continue with that process. You sat on your ass all these years, what, almost 90 years? And allow them to take your vision away. So once your vision reestablished, then bam, come together like you was comatose. All of a sudden, man, woo, you're energized, you can walk, get up, man. Oh, what's going on with that? You understand, brothers and sisters? Tribulation, that shows how great you are. Because resistance tells you how great you are. The more resistance, the greater you are. Every action has opposite reaction. So if you're very powerful, you're going to have a lot of action, right? That means you're going to have a great, so you can measure who you are by the reaction. It says the reaction be unprecedented. That means the action was unprecedented because you become, it says the birth of a nation is one day, one day. So from nothing to Godhood in one day. It means God means you destroy, you take everything back. It means you leave it with nothing. You don't leave it with something, you leave it with nothing. You destroy all of that. All of that is being, look at the scripture correctly, all of that is destroyed, all of it, totally destroyed. Total destroyed. What about Amalek? Amalek tells you, destroy all your enemies on your way home. Every one of them, women kill everything, anything in your way to destroy it. Not cripple it, destroy it. Every action has an opposite reaction. The tribulation is your rise. One brothers and sisters. And they got everything and you have nothing. And now, in one day, you're going to rise, and then that's war, total war. Total war. Total war. Great tribulation, total war. Unprecedented. That's not Armageddon. Armageddon is just a phase. Armageddon would trigger it. Trigger your rise. Phase 3, tribulation. Tribulation, your rise. Your mouth. So God told me, shut up. Lying dog. It says he'll be destroyed. No, perdition is to be destroyed. Whose Lord will consume the spit of his mouth and destroy. Means him, his whole seed, everything just totally eradicated. Nothing left of him, nothing. Not even a memory. Hold on, bro. Says that's this. A little disturbance. Well, sisters, so I don't know what that was all about. Let's move on. Let's move on, get to the main point, brothers and sisters. There's part two. We had some issues today, so this pretty much tells you what you need to do to get out of here, brothers and sisters. It's not a cakewalk. You have total resistance. So I used right? Your rise, total resistance. So it's like, the weak parts won't make it. What's another way of saying it? The nation rises. Okay. Say your body, right? And I don't know where. If you could, in other words, if the force again, if you rising and your body is strong, it says a force of 100, right? So that's how much force you did rise, right? So you have a opposing force of 100. What if you got a weak part of your body that's can only handle 50? It's going to be crushed in that. Because you got a 100-pound force against you. But you got a weak part of your body. Like, when you go out and train, right? Some of the parts of your body that's weak, that's the part that's going to get sore. See, if you go out and start exercising, right? Some parts of your body get weak. That's the weak, get sore. That's the weakest part. That's the ones that you're trying to strengthen so be as strong as the rest of your body. You understand, brothers and sisters? Okay. So, you either get strong or you end up being injury, a permanent injury, or strengthens, one of the two. And so when this body starts rising, and you're a weak part of this body, then you'll be a permanent injury. I put that away. Then move on, brothers and sisters. Or you're going to get strong. Nobody's going to wait for you, brothers. I keep telling you that. One brother says you got to be 100% committed. It's not about friendship, buddy, love, and nothing about that. It's about power. It's about the 5 pillars. Angel is the first one. Well, brother, I'll get to the main point here, and I'm gonna close out. Well, one more thing. I have to check bounces. Hold on for that. Yes, this might be a better example, brothers and sisters. Hajj. See, there's a first hold keeping our people apart, to separate it, right? So it's like if someone's pushing you in a corner, right? It's the amount of force. Then that's how much force it's going to take you to get out of the corner. In other words, if you on the ground, you got a rock on you that weighs 100 pounds, then you have to have 100 pounds of force to push that rock off of you. No, actually, you need 100 pounds of force just to keep the rock crushing you. Understand? So you need more than 100 pounds of force to push the rock all for you. So if it takes some amount of force to bring our people together, because our people divided, how much force comes together? But if you don't have enough, if you can't handle that amount of force, because you're out here in the bell, effing around, but when it comes together, you won't make it. That weak muscle that they got hurt, strained, brain strained, or whatever. I don't know if you understand it, brothers and sisters. When we come together, it's taking an amount of force. We have enough to bring us together, because the force that I'm saying, the resistance, but they come together is they're going to resist us coming together. Because the whole world is the force. The whole world is using their force to keep us apart. They're all working together, but you don't know that. So to come back together, that means you have to overcome the force that they're applying, and they're going to resist that. How much force is it? So if you're a weak link, I guess that's the best way of putting it. You have a strong chain, but if you got a weak link, the chain breaks. That weak link can handle the force. The rest of the links can, but that one can't. So it falls apart. So when we pull a nation together, the weak ones are not going to make it. Hajj. That's what caused tribulation. The Hajj is what caused tribulation. Even Hajj will cause a tribulation. People coming together. But there's a force calls apart. It's like you got a foot on the balloon. You got the balloon underwater. That balloon doesn't want to be underwater. But you have to take the force to keep it on there. So the only way you can get out of it is you have to just overcome that force that's holding you under the water. So when you come to Hajj together, right? If people come together, the weak ones, they'll be crushing the process because they don't have the strength, right? To overcome that force that's keeping us separated. Yeah, I'm leaving that, brothers and sisters. That's what's happening. To achieve Hajj, the resistance is going to be global because all the nations have everything we have. That means they're going to resist your coming together. That's tribulation, unprecedented, because we've never been separated like this before. We're God. The force that takes us put together, can you handle that force? Can you handle that force? If you can't, be pulled apart or crushed. That's the way it is, brothers and sisters. All those weak clowns out there talking that BS, watch what happens to them. One, brothers and sisters. Tribulation. Oh, that's happening every day now. I just told you. They're already attacked. Trump got nervous, pulled the switch. He said, no, we ain't going to do it. No, you're going to do it. He just got nervous. They still say, they're backing up saying, let's come out a different way. Because, see, the way they was coming was they depended on those riots and stuff they set up. And Iran was able to quash that. That interrupted their plan. Like you're in a boxing ring. You try to hooks, and the hooks ain't working. You don't stop the fight. You say, well, let me try some, right? Try some jabs. Hooks ain't working. Then I try some uppercuts, something else. But you're still in the fight. So, because Iran blocked that punch, the fight's back on. It's not the pause over. You understand? But they just punched. They just pumped. They started those riot stuff over there. That was a punch. They killed 100 policemen and all that kind of stuff. It just started already. But Iran was able to block that punch. They said, okay, they blocked that punch, right? War's on. I'm telling you. There'll be a flurry in a minute. If Iran had to block that punch, we'd be in it right now. One brown sisters. The Hodges was caused tribulation. Ladies and gentlemen, what it says right now, brown sisters. See, in a moment, twinkle of an eye, and last trump. See, little hints they give you. Why I say last trump? I said last trumpet. And why I say the last trump? Where trump will sound in the dead. Why is the last trumpet? So they're not talking about a trumpet. When they said the last trumpet. That's a big hint. They get all kinds of hints, bounces. That's Trump. President Trump. The last Trump means his last term. Right now, shall the trumpet sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Incorruptible, not bullshit, not saying stuff you ain't talking about. Not getting shit all mixed up. And they're saying stuff that ain't right. Incorruptible. Angel, they tell you can't corrupt it. You corrupted, you messed up. Only one's incorruptible. So if you corrupted, if you corruptible, then you won't make it. You'll be too weak. And twinkle of an eye. During Trump's last term, and the second term, this one. Twinkle of an eye. Fast. Can a nation be born in a day? It's all there, brothers and sisters. I put the actual, you go look up for yourself. I didn't make this up. It says there were two resurrections, right? And if you look at the way from Elijah's point of view, the first one says it didn't have any spirit. That means they got the information, they didn't do anything with it. They heard Elijah Muhammad's teachings, they didn't do anything with it. The four winds blow. The four winds blow during Armageddon. When they attack us. When the fire hits your ass, then that's when you wake up. And then, that's why, then you have spirit. Then you start actually coming together to see the great army. That's what it says, see? And then that's when you come and see the great army. So right now, you have people that are here. They heard the teachings. They didn't do anything with it. They heard the angel, didn't do anything with it. So you're going to do when the four winds blow, then you do something. Then you get the spirit. Then you start acting on it. See? But now you only got 5 months to complete the journey when you had 90 years. That's why tribulation is so terrible. So it's happening all of a sudden. That means the reaction happens suddenly. That means the reaction happens suddenly. So in twinkle of an eye, that's your resurrection. A twinkle of an eye will be the tribulation. That's resisting your resurrection. And see, at that time, Michael, Master of Muhammad, stand up, the great prince was standing for that people. And there should be a time of trouble. Time of trouble such as never was there. See? Time of trouble like never was before, unprecedented. That time shall people delivered. Everyone found a look. See, that's the first. They was ready. See? They don't go to, see, they're prepared. The tribulation is the ones that wake up. And then some everlasting shame. See, the time of trouble shall, let me see, because it tells you that Jacob's trouble, he was delivered out of it. That's not saying that here. At time shall stand the great prince, stand for that people, and their time shall, and time that people shall be delivered. See? Taken out of it. Not going to tribulation. See? But they sit around and wait 90 years, do something. No spot of blemish, they're taken out. See? But those who are sleeping, then you wake up and the fire hits your ass. But you still sleep now. If you can't read the angel and understand it, you still sleep. You think you maybe sleepwalking, but you still sleep. But that's the way, that's the level, that's our normal way of thinking. I mean, that's like a kindergarten book to us. But it's way beyond you. Remember, we're the ones put the universe together. Make our own, create a planet. We formed the earth. We did all this. So that's basic thinking. And you can't do it. So if I hit your ass, then you're going to start doing it. And that's when you wake up. See? You say, you still asleep. See? You still asleep. You're sleepwalking. And I keep saying. You repeat, you're echoing everything I'm saying, but you still can't do it because you still asleep. That's when you wake up. Okay? Because that's why you go to tribulation. It tells you right there, you still asleep. You think you're awake, you still asleep. When you wake up, then you're going to realize, oh man, I was asleep. And then you start reading and just say, oh man, damn, how come I couldn't understand that before? Move on. Phase 3, Joshua. Mention the covenant. They skipped Aaron, didn't they? But he said he's Aaron. Farrakhan. No, he's gone. There's a couple them. I'm going to close. I'm going to do 2 parts, brothers and sisters. See? The first casualty actually is the weak. We come together. See, we first come together, right? As a nation. Well, see, that's a little complicated because when the demons and the saints come, that's not it, dear. Or we come together as blacks, not come together as a nation. See, people get that confused. See? So we come together as blacks because they attack all blacks. You see? And then once that happens, that's the first battle. Because it's a battle between us and the demons. Then once we get rid of the demons, right? Then we come together as a great nation. Come together. But during that period of time, there's another battle going on. It's kind of hard to say as a battle, because at that time, we come together, the weak ones, they're the ones can't make it. They don't make it. We come together, they're weak, they won't survive. Remember, because that's when tribulation starts. And so we come together. They come together, see the great nation, see the great army, rather. You understand? That's the official tribulation, because resistance to that. Not resisting us, because they didn't want to force us to come together by attacking all of us. It's just force. That's not coming together as a nation. That's a group of us coming together. All blacks coming together because they're being attacked. That's not unity. That's not Hajj. Trying to get away from these devils. Then once that happens, then we separate from each other. We throw them out, throw the chaff out, and then we come together to see the great army. If you look at the other way, they're part of the see the great army. That's not right. So once we kick them out, then we come, that's we achieve Hajj. When the price achieve the Hajj, that's the tribulation. That's what we're trying to prevent us from coming together. But as coming together, the weak ones that can't stand that force that we have to apply, remember it takes energy to do everything. And it takes force to bring us back together. Not just energy, we have to have the energy to do it, but we have to turn into force to bring us back together, achieve Hajj. And some of us can't withstand that. That's the weak ones. There's not demons, but hang around like Ishmael, and maybe Eric and those clowns if they're Levites. See? So what form will that take? What form will that take? You always look at the quality of things. What form will that take? It means they're identified. We're coming together, right? So we say, hey, no, you're not Jew. That's what get grievous society, because they're going to be judged and chastised by their own people. That's why the Bible says they be cut off from their own people. But now they want to be with us now. No. But no. But we was out there telling your bullshit. Ishmael, no. And they would suffer the most grievous time because, first of all, one of the part of the chastisement is that they would cut off from their people. But we don't want them. You go over to the demons, you go back with them if you want to. That's part of the chastisement right there. We want them. Second part is right. It's the cruelty that we're going to cut off my people because we don't want them. Secondly, right, they're going to be blamed for the people that's lost for lack of knowledge. And the cruelty that be inflicted upon them would be awesome. Most grievous chastisement. I'll leave it there, brothers and sisters. Trying to make it clear enough for you to understand. So if you're out there with your bullshit, don't you know you judge angels? Your bullshit? Are people going to judge you harshly? Harshly. Not an emotional step here. That's the worst place. When I step on a roach, it's not an emotional thing. I don't want roaches around. I don't have a bad feeling about that roach. I don't want it in my house. Step one. The same way that's when somebody attack you from here, that's worse. Emotional, because emotion you might get over. Right? You might get an emotional thing because you kill a club. Oh, okay. That's a cute little roach out there all alone. No. When it's here, they all go. That's what you'll be dealing with. You have display. Well, how come you wasn't with the messenger covenant? Oh, why were you saying it? So why were you saying you're son of man? Can you prove that? Why was you saying it? Why would you confuse it without people confused? And why would you confuse them more? Oh. And they're going to remember, oh, man, I lost my sister. I lost my mom. Oh, boy, ooh. You have no idea, brothers. It's like, that's why Elijah Muhammad said, you're not praying for that day because you do not know what you're up against. I'm going to play a couple of things. I'm going to close. And hopefully, well, not hopefully, maybe tomorrow. But I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, there may not be no tomorrow. Because if he had to pull this punch, it would have been a today. Because you'd be fleeing. You'd be about to flee. Those that know, they would already be on their cars, heading to where they need to head. If they come here and not pull this punch, you'll be on your way to your destination right now. If you had to pull this punch. You understand? Go check, don't take word for it. Yes, the planes were in the route. That was on the flight was on the way. And he got spooked. Said, oh no, call him back. Then he said he wasn't going to do it. Just said, we got to try another way. That could happen today or tomorrow. What happens, those who understand, well, they may or may not be on the way, depending on if I tell them. Because right now, I don't want to tell anybody anything right now. But I'm not about going emotional. You don't want me to get emotional. I got to keep my emotions because I'm telling you, I'm kind of, no. I mean, I understand. But some stuff is just hard to understand, brothers and sisters. After 4 or 5 years and you're still producing nothing? Why do you deserve to be told anything? Anyway, if you had to pull the punch, you'd be on your way. Hacked and gone. And so they expect to pull that, to go ahead and proceed. And they know, because it's already, remember, he pulled the trigger, nothing came out. They're going to pull the trigger again. Let's play a couple of these, and then we'll close, brothers and sisters. Think.
1. Now after the death of Moses the servant of the Lord it came to pass, that the Lord spake unto Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, To Moses my servant is dead, now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou, and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. 3. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses. 4. From the wilderness and this Lebanon even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun, shall be your coast. 5. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life, as I was with Moses, so I will be with thee, I will not fail thee, nor forsake thee.
That's a Mr. Covenant. Not Aaron. They bypass Aaron. How come he bypass Aaron? Claim Aaron is Farrakhan, he's a Messiah, right? That's what they claim. That's not what this says. Move on, brothers and sisters.
Six. Be strong and of a good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give them. 7. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law, which Moses my servant commanded thee, turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein, for then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. 9. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage, be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest.
Well, okay, I can't say that, can he? Was God with him when they blew his ass up with those radiation pills? Yeah, he cursed. He's done. If Trump had to pull his punch, Farrakhan be toast right now. He's got some. He thinks watch what his future is. We don't have a future, so I put that away.
One. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse, which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath driven thee, to and shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart, and with all thy soul. 3. That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither the Lord thy God hath scattered thee. For if any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. 5. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it, and he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers.
These are promises made to, that's the covenant, not Aaron, because that's Farrakhan said he didn't want to go nowhere anyway. Plus, he's not seed of Abraham, his father's the devil. Wesley, Dr. Wesley, you don't understand biology? One, brothers and sisters. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. I'll follow up tomorrow if there's tomorrow. You understand the war's on. Check it out for yourself. Take my word for it. I tell you, prove everything I say. There's planes on the way. They was going to hit Iran today. That whole set with the riots and everything was to soften them up. We get chaos in the country. They was going to come in, and the Iranians was able to shut that down because they had these Starlink terminals, and they couldn't communicate, shut it down, so they couldn't communicate with false Israel. So they didn't know what to do. So they shut the riots down, right? That was a prelude. They'll come in, cause confusion in Iran, and then to come in with the planes and bomb, and then with the military. And rest, but the jab, right? So, what should I do? Should I do a hook or what? Hold on, let me think about this for a minute. That's all it is, brother and sister. The war has resumed. Okay. So like I said, it may not be here tomorrow. But once there's a couple of things I could tell you about, I can't tell you. You see. So, well, it's like I said, a couple things I can't tell you. But I did tell you when it would start, and then start around time, didn't it? Didn't it start around time, brothers and sisters? Go back and check presentations. This will be your benefit, not mine. I know what I said. I said, half an hour. And that's one thing. Let me close, brothers and sisters. See, that's one thing that kind of gets me. Because you wonder, I don't believe in English anymore, actualists. Which makes you suspicious about people. Because I said way back in June, I talked about the pause. I said even before the pause, before June, there'd be a pause. Over a year ago, I'm sure. More than that. I talked about there'd be a pause. I explained about this pause. Probably 2 years. It's been a while. Go back and look. I've not been talking about this pause for quite some time. So there'd be a pause. I talk about that. I can actually remember 2 or 3 years because I was talking about when I went to the seals, the fifth seal, there'd be a pause because it was quiet there. Right? And then the next would be sixth seal with, or hell break loose. So in the fifth seal, I explained that because I said Syria had to go down first. So I know I said that. I know those are still out there. So but I can't. I was about 2 or 3 years old, I think, probably more than that. I explained about the seals, right? And so it's a half an hour. That's an hour. It's a year. So it'd be silence for at least 6 months. Now, probably 6 months. Could be a little less, a little more. Exactly this case, right? June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 6 months. It means January, maybe even in February. The war resume. Okay. Watch the weather, Farrakhan. So I don't care if you believe it or not. The fact is there. It's for your benefit whether you believe it or not. I don't know nobody that they don't have any bullhorn. And I can't, and I'm saying if people were studying this, they should have saw that. They should have saw that. Make sure they saw it. Pause. They should always get pause. Make sure, but they didn't see it. So they said, what are they doing? Are they for real? The agents? They care? I explained very clearly. Something I can't say is clearly, but I give you information, you should figure it out yourself. When I teach you how to add, you go to the store and you got $10. The guy said, well, this is $8.99. You should be able to figure out, right? You get $1 and a penny back. Well, I got to come in and tell you. Some of the stuff they should just figure it out because I gave it. But let me go, bro. Says, Assalamu alaikum. Terrible times, bro. It's terrible times. Assalamu alaikum.
We have a lot of that going on, but we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody. These are these people that you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work, and they've tried. We've tried. Everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well, you heard that. Donald Trump is a believer in eugenics. He believes that white people are the superior race. And inner city is code for black people. And he believes black people cannot now work on the farms. I guess they're not good enough for that. So Hispanic people can do it because they have the backs for it. This is what this man is saying out loud in interviews. He is a racist. It's been proven time and time again. The man had Mein Kampf on his bedside table that he would read at night. Enough to let you know where he stands on that. Just more outrageous, racist things from Donald Trump. They want to arrest those who can do the farm work well until their backs give out. And then he'll probably ship them to El Salvador or some other country. Just more vile statements from the president and let you know where he stands.
When they were arresting people for praying outside of abortion clinics. I mean, I do think the UK, and I say this as, someone who is half English, I think it's like reached, or it is quickly reaching a point where democratic reforms are going to be pretty tough because of the demographic change. And that, of course, the point of importing all these people is to overwhelm the people who live there who disapprove of the program. So you don't have to care what they think because you just bring in new people and their will becomes like all that matters. And so I don't think you're going to fix these things through elections at some point, probably pretty soon. And I just worry a place like the UK, Canada is another, a bunch of different countries in the West are at the point where they're literally revolutionary. They are poised for revolution. And as someone who really doesn't support revolution and hates violence and hates civil war above all, I'm worried about that. I mean, I don't see how this is fixed. Starmer, who's, he's just an instrument of larger forces, but he's a poisonous character, obviously, who's really hurt your country. He's in there for 4 more years. And so you wonder, people are going to start to get really radical in a scary way. I think this is going to happen. And the people in charge don't seem to care.
Well, you're already seeing it. You are seeing the anger beginning to manifest itself, and I completely understand the anger. I don't like you. I abhor any form of violence, but I do understand the anger when you have, Keir Starmer campaigned on, I'm going to smash the gangs that allow these little boats to come over the channel, delivering tens of thousands of people illegally into the country, and they then get put into these so-called asylum hotels where they're given a pretty good lifestyle, certainly a far better lifestyle than many people really struggling at the moment in the UK. And of course, far from smashing the gangs, it turned out yesterday that he's smashing new records for the number of people coming in illegally on the boats. Of course, it's out of control. And the British public are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly?
Are reaching a point of saying, we are done with people coming in illegally and being treated better in a more comfortable and more luxurious manner than we treat our own people.
Well, the whole point is to humiliate and degrade the indigenous population of the British Isles, the white population. I mean, that's the whole point. And are they really going to do something about it? What would that be exactly? You'd really have to force a lot of people to go back to their countries of origin, millions of people, and you need to do it really soon. And are they actually willing to do that? I don't know, but these are existential questions that we have been browbeat into ignoring for decades. But the question is is Ireland Ireland? If it's majority non-Irish, oh, shut up, they're Irish. No, they're actually not Irish. Same with the UK, same with England, Scotland, Wales. Like, it's all changing so fast. Nothing like this has ever happened in all of history, except when, say, the Mongols swept across the steppe and raped everybody. Like, that was true demographic change on this scale. But even that wasn't as profound as what we're seeing in every white country around the world. I would say the West, but Australia and New Zealand also. So, like, what is that? Now, my brain is not big enough to understand what that is. I have a lot of theories about it, but I don't know if they're true. All I know is what the numbers are, and that's real, and no one feels that he can say it. Everyone's like, oh, well, if that were happening in China or India or Malaysia or Senegal, it doesn't matter. You'd be like, what the hell is that? Like, the population's totally different. Look at graduation. Pick, King's College Law School, and look at the graduation picture for the last 30 years. Who's in it? Just like, let your eyes tell you the truth for once. Like, this is a total change in population. Is it better? Is it worse? Can't have that conversation. Who's pushing this? Does the population want it? The population clearly doesn't want it. There's no polling that's meaningful on the subject. I mean, there's no referendum on it. You don't get to decide. You've got no voice in it, other than you get to go to jail if you complain loudly enough about it. What is this? I think it's the biggest and darkest thing that has happened in the last 1,000 years, for sure. And I think it's leading somewhere really, really bad. It's not happening by accident, that's obvious, because it's only happening in white countries.
I mean, I think that...
Oh, shut up, white supremacist. Well, in fact, I'm not a white supremacist. I'm just noticing what the hell's going on.
I think most people I've spoken to about this in the UK, most people have always viewed the UK to be a very tolerant, multicultural, cosmopolitan place to live. That's why so many people want to come here. And people have no problem with that. And it's been very successful for a long period of time.
But it's multicultural? What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law... What does that mean?
We have a lot of different people from different countries, different cultures, and it's always worked historically.
So is Sharia law in a multicultural country, is Sharia law every bit as valid as English common?
No, people don't want Sharia law here. No.
A lot of people do. Wait, hold on. I don't know what you mean. Multiculturalism itself is a lie designed to subvert a society. No, a society has a culture. You can argue about what it is or ought to be. It's not necessarily the same as race. It's connected to race, but it's not the same. People from different races can buy into your culture. That was kind of the beauty of the West. But a multicultural society is not sustainable. There's never been
your
such a
society
thing.
Is
One
about
culture will dominate.
Hang on, Tucker. Surely the United States of America, given the very way it was created, is the epitome of a multicultural society. And my point I was going to make to you was...
It's absolutely not. No. It's a multiracial society.
Yeah.
Though it was not actually a multiracial society up until pretty recent. It was just like 90% white for most of its existence, but whatever. But you did have different peoples, you had different religions. That was all totally fine, but there was one culture, as American culture. There's no such thing as a multicultural society. It's not sustainable. One culture will overwhelm the other. Again, it's not the same as race. It's not identical to race. It's connected, but it's not the same. But multiculturalism is by definition insane. No, it's never happened. It never will happen. One culture will predominate. It will impose its values on everybody else. I mean, the gay thing, which was not a thing 40 years ago, gay was a slur, all of a sudden becomes multiculture there. There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society, because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere all the time.
Those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments? Right. So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multicultural multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's
determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. That's natural. It's natural that people's views evolve.
So those values can evolve.
There's one culture, and it's required. And that's true in every society because a culture is a commonly agreed upon set of values, which in their firmest form are called laws.
But those values can evolve.
This is true everywhere.
But those values can evolve.
Of course they evolve, but there's only one set of them. It's not multicultural. There's one set. You worship one God in every society. Sorry.
But your country's values were established by the United States Constitution, and that's had, 26, 27 amendments, right? So your own values, as determined by the founding fathers, they have evolved and been changed to accommodate changing time.
There's no doubt. Look, I'm not even arguing against change. Natural that people's views evolve.
So the culture changes.
Once you start rejecting the laws of nature, then you're doomed. But let me just say, no, of course, societies change. I get it. All I'm saying, I'm making a very discrete, specific point, which is multiculturalism as an idea is laughably stupid. It has never worked. We never had it anywhere, and it never will exist because it's contrary to human nature. One culture, one way of looking at things, one worldview will predominate, and it will punish all who deviate from it. That is the nature of societies. So if you're telling me it's multicultural, we can all live and have radically different values, that's just not true. It's never been true. It never will be true. So you're having one culture, one worldview predominate over another and dominate and suppress all dissent. That's just what it is, dude.
But
let's be honest.
I would point to the United States of America and the United Kingdom as two shining examples, albeit not completely without their flaws, but shining examples of places that are deemed by the rest of certainly feel that about my country.
Well, I certainly think that inherent in Christianity is the notion of tolerance, and that draws from a core Christian concept, which is free will. You cannot force someone to convert. There's never been conversion by the sword in Christianity. People decide to believe in it. And so that is central to the religion, therefore it's been central to the society. Western civilization is Christian civilization. And so we call that tolerance. It's a respect for your inherent God-given right to make a choice about what you believe. Okay, so of course, that's always been a feature. My only point is, a society has a commonly agreed upon set of beliefs, rules, and laws that are the definition of the society itself. That's what a society is. So you can't have competing. You can't have, gay world and Sharia world living co-equally in a society. That does not happen. It will never happen. You have to pick one. Are we the Sharia society? Are we the party time gay rights society? Which one? And you can't face that reality. So you're just sort of snoozing along until the inevitable point where you're going to wake up and be like, my values have no bearing on what our society is anymore because we've been invaded by other people with a totally different worldview, and they're now in charge. And that day is coming very soon for your country, and maybe it'll improve it. I don't think the UK could be a lot worse than it already is. It's this kind of disgusting, sad, self-hating, suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English person, but that day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architect. That's a choice that we're all going to face. Suicidal island that was once great. It kills me to see it as a half English. That day is coming. It will change. You will either decide to be Western or Eastern. That's a choice that we're all going to face. I don't want to face that choice, but it's being foisted upon us by the architects of mass migration. Sorry.
I would question your characterization as my country as a sad, disgusting, what's the rest of it, suicidal nation. I feel none of those things. I feel very happy to be in the United Kingdom, and I feel that there are lots of very happy
Our system, the Western system, which is very distinct from the Eastern system, very distinct, and it's distinct on this one precise point, we believe, and have always believed since this country was founded, since your country became, not a pure monarchy, but even when it was a pure monarchy, the belief in the West, because of Christianity, was the worst thing you can do is punish the innocent. That's the worst thing you can do. That's worse than not punishing the guilty. And we often said that to each other. We no longer say that because there is a pretty concerted effort to blur the meaning of these terms. But I'm not going to be deterred from defining words precisely. Terror is murdering people, killing people, punishing people who committed no crime. Period.
So when the Israeli government says it has repeatedly that even though over 20,000 completely innocent children are believed to have died in their response to what Hamas did on October the 7th at the hands of the IDF, there are many on the pro-Palestinian side who say that Israel is behaving like terrorists too in the way that they have gone about conducting this war. Would you go as far as to say that?
One of the things that I really object to now is this relentless focus on Israel, which, by the way, is a foreign country that I have nothing to do with.
We've done this before. Now, maybe today things are different, and we will end up living in a nation that is sharply divided and may ultimately produce something else. But I'm an American. I love my country. I want to see it stay together. I'm interested in social cohesion, which means that I think our laws, customs, and culture have to be dominant. We can accept some diversity on the edges, but not fundamental division. I think we're in a state of fundamental division. So when I bring up Sharia law, I've sat in many discussions with many people that said, well, I don't care what people look like, but I do care about Sharia law, and I don't want that practiced anywhere near my family or in my country. And that's something you should be aware of. So the notion that someone can come here and say, well, that's part of my religion and we're going to abide by Sharia law, they're going to find serious resistance and opposition in the country.
That's and as I clarified,
it's because it matters. It's this thing we call societal cohesion. Nations do not exist on their own. They have a core population. Our core population from the very beginning was always at least 80% European and Christian and about 15 to 20% African. But when you start bringing in huge numbers, millions, who are fundamentally different from the core population, you are going to get violence, anger, and conflict. How many times have you heard people say, if you bring people in from the developing world, what do you get? The developing world. And now we've got that. You can't bring in hundreds of thousands of people from Somalia, plant them, of all places, in Minnesota, and then be shocked that, no, they're not Americans. They're not really interested in being Americans. They're foreigners living on American soil. Nobody wants to say that publicly. If you do, oh, well, you're a racist. Well, you know, the world is full of racists. The real war that's going to decide our fate is not going to be fought anywhere overseas. It's going to be fought right here inside the United States. Are we going to survive as a republic, as an English-speaking republic that rests on the foundations of Western civilization? Or are we going to become something else?
One point that is
Constitution was completed in 1789. I think we had 5 million people living in the 13 British colonies. We were 90% white, that is excluding the Africans that were in the country who had been brought here as slaves. But we were 90% white. We were 90% Protestant. And this may be hard for you to believe, but the people that wrote that were trying to protect all of the Protestant sects from a state church on the model of the Church of England and the Roman Catholic Church. That's one of the reasons it was almost 100 years or more after that before people began to finally accept Catholicism as a religion, because it was viewed as political power. My point to you is the Constitution is outdated. The way we are governed is outdated. It has to be re-examined. Nobody in 1789 imagined that anybody would come to the United States except another lunatic, religious fanatical Protestant who hated the Church of England. That's what people feared. That's what they thought of. The Constitution that we have does many good things, but I would argue that the Bill of Rights is ultimately more important. The Bill of Rights is vital and essential, and that needs to be defended. But the Constitution and the way we govern and the things that we're doing, it's out of date. It doesn't fit our needs. And that's back to my comment on something given has no value. You have to earn it. And we haven't made anybody earn their place in this country. I'm talking about people like me that have been here forever. My first ancestor stepped off the boat in 1681. So we've got to get back to some notion of national service, because national service promotes national integration. It addresses some of these problems that you're discussing. Now, I know that you may not want to conform and may not want to be as I am, but I'm an American and nobody questions that. Nobody ever will. If you don't want to stand out and be questioned, then I suggest that you change your appearance, because I don't think it's life or death for you to wear what you wear.
I think this conversation.
It's not fine, because it's leading to violence that could have otherwise been avoided. You see, every great nation, every large nation can always accept some number of people into its ranks that are different from them. It's always been the case. But if you suddenly import millions, which is what's happened here and happened in Europe, then you threaten the core gene pool. What I'm trying to tell you is there's a problem. And we can all pretend that there isn't, and you can insist there isn't, but that's the view. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to address it truthfully and openly. Stop pretending it's not a problem. It's a problem.
I mean, what's also a problem is white supremacy, and that's.
No, because you're saying you're different, you're going to remain different. And you don't think that if that's not compatible with being an American, then the hell with it. That's what you're going to do.
Well, then what do you make then of, white American people who convert, let's say, to Islam and choose to cover? Are they not American anymore?
Listen, if they want to do that, that's obviously their business. I don't know how many are out there that do that. I think again, it's ill-advised. I think you have to hold the society together. There has to be an agreement on certain things, customs, culture, way of life. And unfortunately, if you're going to practice rigidly a brand of Islam that demands certain things, and this is why I asked right off the bat, do you support Sharia law?
I'm a Muslim. What being a Muslim means is I follow the guidelines of my religion, which is a peaceful.
Does your religion dictate to you Sharia law?
My religion dictates to me to be a good human being, to be good to my neighbors, to
that the most powerful force in today's Republican Party is represented by what Charlie Kirk said. It is this drive to make America a white Christian nation. I got to tell you, this is what they say privately. This is now what they say publicly. This is what Charlie Kirk said publicly.
And Joe, again, one of the reasons I wanted to have you on, because you know these people very, very well. Yeah. You said it yourself. You were one of the strongest voices. You were one of the folks who understood the incendiary language when you were in Congress, when you had your radio show, and how people loved when you did it. And then when you chose to apologize for that and turn away from it, oh my God, they literally have just tried to destroy you because of that.
Yeah, again, you know the deal, Roland, right? I came out publicly against Trump 7 years. For 7 years, I put up with death threats on a regular basis. Nobody is welcome in that party unless you bow down to what this force is, this MAGA force. And again, look, there have been some people on the left who've celebrated Charlie Kirk's murder. Shame on them, be better people. But this is much worse, Roland, what my former friends are doing on the right, because they are turning this into a holy war. When you say we declare war on the left because of what some 22-year-old young guy did in Utah, and then you declare war on the whole left, that's a lot worse than celebrating Charlie Cook's murder, because that's dishonest, but that's also inciting hate and violence. And Roland, look, Trump's an idiot. So yeah, Trump says the left, the problem in the country is the left. J.D. Vance is not an idiot. What did J.D. Vance say today, right? He was subbing for Charlie Kirk on his radio show, and he spent the entire show going after the left, going after them, they, them. Man, Democrats need to wake up, Roland. This is a really serious deal by my former colleagues. The stuff that I hear privately from them right now, Roland, for the last 5 days, I mean, they want to go to war. This is a holy war.
Oh, it absolutely is. And what really jumps out at me on this very thing here, Joe, and I've been saying this, I played the speech 2 weeks ago that mainstream media just ignored, of Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, who gave a speech at NatCon, Peter Thiel's group, where he literally gave a white nationalist speech, where he said our ancestors fought for this country to be ours and no one else. He was talking about white people. He was basically saying if you are Black, Latino, Asian American, or even Native American, America is not for you. And folks just ignored it. And so people need to understand, again, what they're saying, why they're saying it. And yes, there are many evangelicals, any very conservative white Christians who are pushing this as well. And you nailed it. They want a holy war. They want a race war. They want this to be a white country. It is clear as day.
And Roland, really important point. Charlie Kirk at only 31, the impact he had, because he was one of the most successful pushers of this white Christian nationalistic idea. And so I think that's why all of his defenders are out there so strenuously denying he said anything divisive, because they know if you really go through Charlie Kirk's public record, everything he said about people of color and Black women and Muslims and gays and transgenders, if people took the time to go through all of that, and that was put out for average people to see, they'd be blown away by it. That's why his defenders are like supercharged right now. They don't want that record to be seen.
Today, you mentioned, and I mentioned as well, Vice President J.D. Vance sitting in to do his show. And listen to this man just blatantly lie, Joe. Play it.
I read a story in The Nation magazine about my dear friend Charlie Kirk. Now, The Nation isn't a fringe blog. It's a well-funded, well-respected magazine whose publishing history goes back to the American Civil War. George Soros's Open Society Foundation funds this magazine, as does the Ford Foundation and many other wealthy titans of the American progressive movement. The writer accuses Charlie of saying, and I quote, "Black women do not have brain processing power to be taken seriously." But if you go and watch the clip, the very clip she links to, you realize he never said anything like that. He never uttered those words. He made an argument against affirmative action as a policy. He criticized a specific Supreme Court justice as an individual. He never said anything about black women as a group. He made an argument for judging people of all races and backgrounds by their own individual merits.
Bullshit.
Okay, Joe, this is actually what he said.
No, Roland, that's utter bullshit.
In fact, you know, if we would have said 3 weeks ago, Blake, if we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action, particularly in higher education. I may have been admitted on affirmative action, both in terms of being a woman and a woman of color.
All right, Joe. He literally said it. Not only that, Vance lied. Soros does not fund the nation. So he sat there and flat out lied.
And Roland, remind me, what's J.D. Vance's job? He's the vice president, and yet he had time today to do a radio show for a former right-wing podcaster. I mean, look what they're not even, Roland, they're not even subtle about it, what this White House is doing. They believe, man, the path to victory is fear, hate, and division. And that's what they're putting out there. That was Charlie Kirk literally going after 4 accomplished black women by saying they didn't have the brain power to get where they got. This is what he believed. And this is what MAGA believes. And that, again, Roland, broken record, that's why Charlie Kirk was so damn successful. Why he had such a big audience.
Yeah, and not only that, you take Nick Fuentes, who's to the right of Charlie Kirk. The night of or the day after Kirk was shot and killed, Fuentes had 200,000 people watching him live. And so what you have this fervor. And so when I listen to Trump and Vance and all these people talk about, how the left, they're indoctrinating. No, and you know this very well, the indoctrination. We've had people who formerly are with Turning Point USA put out videos talking about how it was really this cult-like figure, this messianic figure, as they sort of set Kirk up as, and how they want them to follow that. And so that's what's going on here. These people are not trying to have open dialogue. And not only that, Joe, you take Trump, okay? Trump was very clear in saying he was not going to call Governor Tim Walz after those 4 folks were shot in Minnesota. 2 were killed, including former Speaker of the House and her husband. Now today he's saying, he never even heard of Melissa Hortman, and if the governor had asked him, he would have, of course, lowered the flags to have staff. I'm sorry, he's also lying. He knew about her. He knew about the shooting, but he was so arrogant that he said, 2 Democrats, a Democrat Speaker of the House shot and killed. Yeah, I don't care, but lower the flags to have staff with Charlie Kirk. Flies body on Air Force 2. Do a memorial service at the Kennedy Center. Do another one at the Arizona Cardinal Stadium. Give him the Medal of Freedom. And I'm telling you, they're going to give him a state funeral. That's what you're seeing right now. And then you got Peter Hegseth going after members of the military who said anything negative in the aftermath of his death. You've got Kirk supporters creating a database of people of every social media post, and then even Vance said it in the podcast, you call their employer. So the so-called free speech people all of a sudden are saying, if you say anything negative about Charlie Kirk after what took place last week, we're going to come after you, come after your job. Oh, I thought they hated cancel culture, Joe.
Yeah. Roland, I remember back in my right-wing radio days, I would come on every day, and there was always some story about some leftist group on a college campus that couldn't handle speech that made them uncomfortable.
To say.
Roland, this is scary, and you and I are old enough, man, to remember huge figures in American history who were gunned down, struck down, military leaders, civil rights leaders. We are treating this 31-year-old podcaster, MAGA influencer, like he's Jesus Christ. So I come from the right. Why are my old colleagues and friends on the right doing this, Roland? Because the right wants a religious war. Let's just call it. They want a civil war. They want a holy war. That's why they're putting him up to be some Jesus-like martyr.
Absolutely. I mean, Glenn Beck literally came out and said he was a civil rights leader. Oh, my God, stop it. Stop it. I've seen people say, I've seen a lot of these videos, I'm leaving my church because my pastor did not mention him. This was a Christian warrior. And let's just be clear. You said it, white Christian nationalists. It's slaveholder religion. We heard a lot of this stuff during slavery, during Jim Crow, things along those lines. And this whole idea about, it was about debate. It was about, exchange of ideas. I mean, come on, let's just stop it. And so we see what's going on here. We see the games that are being played. And then what gets me, Joe, is this whole deal of, oh my God, the left, how they indoctrinated him and the accused killer going to a university. The dude was at a university for one semester, Joe. You're trying to tell me that one semester at a mostly white institution in Mormon, Utah, which is not a liberal bastion, somehow just radicalized him? I mean, it really is showing folks the hand they're trying to play.
Yeah, and I think even on top of that, Roland, I think it was like some technical school. So it wasn't some crazy liberal arts school for a semester. Look, cut through all the BS. The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, has publicly said that America should be a white Christian country. This is what animates my former party. Roland, you know me, right? Tea Party Hellraiser. I don't come from the left. I left the Republican Party when the Republican Party became MAGA. And my fellow Democrats and folks on the left need to understand, now these people are on the right. Now this is MAGA. MAGA now are the snowflakes. MAGA, Roland, they now need their safe spaces. It's funny, but it's not funny. And you're right about J.D. Vance, man. He just flat out lied. I mean, the last 30-year history of political violence in this country, the vast majority of it is right-wing. It always has been. And they put out this lie that it's only on the left. It's not even, Roland, a both sides problem between the left and the right. There is political violence on the left, but the vast majority is on the right, and they know that, and they're lying because they're trying to inflame their base. And Roland, I hear from their base every day, and let me tell you something, they are inflamed. I mean, they are ready to march and grab their you-know-what. This is a scary time.
It is, and folks need to understand what is certainly at stake. Joe Walsh, I appreciate you joining us on the show.
history of the cross, known by their works. What's the history of the cross? 500-year history of the cross. Murder, rape, destruction, deception, enslavement, burning, terrorizing. To maintain a slavery system, you must terrorize the people 24/7. They terrorize people from Africa and America for 400 years. Constant terror, 24/7, rape, murder. In the name of Jesus. This was Christians, not Buddhists, not Hindus. Christians. Christians, in the name of Jesus, when they said Jesus cursed black people, they call them Ham, cursed them to be slaves and persecuted forever. In the name of Jesus, raped our women incessantly, pissed in our mouths, made us eat shit. And they took and tried to clean it up, not clean it up, but make it look more fashionable, I guess, by calling it chitlins. That's after slavery, of course, after so-called slavery. Because what was into it was not slavery. Look up slavery. Look up slavery. It does include murder, rape, terror. This is a Holocaust. And then now they try to downplay it. Oh, that was 40 years ago. No, it wasn't 40 years ago. I don't care if it was a million years ago. It was 40 years ago. It lasts for 400 years. As they're doing today. They took everything away from the slaves. Everything. Their name, their culture, their families, their religion, their minds, everything. Fed their children to alligators as alligator bait. And then they talk about what's going on in Gaza when they did 1,000 times worse. What's going over in Gaza now is simply just a miniature version of what they did. What they did was far worse than what's going on in Gaza. Gaza's bad. It's genocide. What they did was far worse and much longer. That's the legacy of Christianity. Murder, rape, disease. They wiped out the native population with genocide and disease. Smallpox blankets, knowing they was full with disease. Herpes, syphilis, gonorrhea from sleep with animals. So-called common cold was not common. Didn't exist here on this side of the world until they brought it here. Murder, rape. When they was raping out women, there was a cross hanging from their neck. And again, they taught blacks that this was God's will. God's will. Enslavement of our people. And they continue on even today. That's the legacy of Christianity, the cross. So where's your rap sheet? Every time they arrest one of our people, your rap sheet. What's your rap sheet? How are you going to judge people for murder when you're guilty of murder beyond imagination for hundreds of years? Hundreds of years. Theft. You stole this land and murdered its people. And you crushed the native people here When the braves would go out hunting, you would come into the camps like cowards and kill the women and smash the children's brains out on the hooves of your horses. This is the legacy of Christianity. That's the legacy of it. The question is, if instead of Columbus coming here, Dracula came here, Beelzebub, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Satan, and they all came instead of Columbus. What could they have done that Columbus and those that followed him did? Satan is the God of this world. That's the God they're serving. They have known him by their works. What are the works of Christianity? What are the works of Christianity? Where's the works of Christianity? Evil, deception, mischief, bloodshedding. It goes on today. And what's going on in Gaza, just reflection and microcosm of what was done here in America for hundreds of years. Raped out women incessantly. They would even rape while they was out in the fields picking cotton. They would jump off their horse and tell them to bend over and rape them. And tell them to keep picking cotton while they was doing it. This is the kind of stuff that they would do. Make one slave defecate and slave and slave in the mouth of another slave, and then bound it up so they couldn't spit it out for 7 days. That's a legacy of slavery. You did it all in the name of Jesus. That's a legacy of slavery. Legacy of slavery. 40 years plus. Legacy of Christianity. Legacy of the cross. That's the legacy. That's the true legacy. So whose works are those? Who are you serving? Who are you serving? The legacy of the cross. Where's your rap sheet, America? Gog? Where's your rap sheet, Magog? Britain? Where's your mateship? Where's your rap sheet? Antichrist, false Israel? Where's your rap sheet? Then they colonized Africa. They're stealing from ripping off everyone. It's the legacy of Christianity. It's been ruling for over 500 years. And now, the threat of nuclear war to finish off everything. That's a legacy of Christianity in the name of your Jesus.
and going westward or going out there in the land, ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their ways. Come out of their pagan holidays, where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. What the heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And the ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the old rhythm, crying, wanting to return, with their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves, bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. You and I. enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel? Acting so. And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your own? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their arms 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man say you were free. Remember that.
packing our bags and going westward or going out there in the land. Ain't no cities, no towns, no infrastructure out there. Surely you ain't talking about that, are you? No. We ain't going back to Africa. No. This is your land. Our sweat, our tears, our blood has earned us the right to the land. What God wants you to do is come out of their way. Come out of their pagan holiday, where you should be honoring Jesus. You are out here buying bunny rabbits and inviting your children to paint eggs for some Easter hunt. Come out of her. Get the Santa Claus out of your house, and a tree that is the way of the pagans. Come out of her. St. Valentine's Day. The heck is that? Excuse me. Come out of her name. Come out of her religion. Come out of her culture. Come out of her way of life. Come out of her educational system.
Back to their people. When they was put off on the shores of North America. And this ship, Jesus, that John Hawkins brought our best hero. They stood and stared at it disappearing in the horizon, crying, wanting to return, with their hands stretched out towards that ship, and tied in chains themselves bound together. And when they was put off on this memorable shows, they stood there staring at that ship that brought them to a strange land and a strange people who could not speak either one's language. Now they have to live in a strange country and a strange people who had proven to them every mile from their native land that they were going to be the worst enemies that they ever lived with. They were going to be the people that would destroy them. They soon discovered that on this ship that they were being brought here on. I don't know how we should say anything in the name of Jesus of good for us when this ship was named Jesus. This is how that we have always been deceived by the white man, trying to use Jesus, the name Jesus, to lull us off in a mental sleep, thinking that we are on our way to heaven. This is terrible. My beloved brothers and sisters, this is very hard for us to even to accept today. Imagine our parents standing crying to return to their native land and people, and you here today crying to stay with the very enemy that brought our fathers in subjection to their will. you and I, turning your face from your on-native land and turning it back towards our own prison house and our own enemies who have destroyed us and seeks to further destroy us. How do you feel? How do you feel? Not wanting to return to your people. They are trying to make love with the very people that destroyed you and your parents. How do you feel? Acting such. And even today, they are beating and shooting you down throughout the country. There is no justice here for you and me. Why should not you want to be separated and be returned to your home? I ask you that question. Think over your parents on the eastern shore of North America, crying and praying to God to be returned to their home 400 years ago. How would they like, or you like to see them rise up in the judgment, condemning you for being such fools as now want to live in the land that absolutely enslaved them and killed them and beat them for 300 long years here. They would condemn you as being fools for not wanting to be separated and go to your own, build up a nation for yourself after the white man said you were free. Remember that.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulman Rahim here, Veteran of Covenant. Okay, brothers and sisters, it's been a year now, and We're finally home after 40 years in Arabia. I'm reporting to you from Arabia. Finally home after 40 years. Right? And so we've been here a year now. And there was an agreement made. A former slave master, he said, we had a choice. Stay here or leave. Right? So we chose our inheritance, Arabia. So we left. And half the original people decided they wanted to give up their inheritance and traded for a place in America in reconciliation with their former slave master. That's their choice. They chose, said, we don't want to go over to Arabia. We don't go over there sand and all that stuff. We want to stay here in America. We've been here all our lives, been here 40 years, born here, right? And we can make peace with our slave master. Okay, so they decided to stay. And so after a year, right, we're getting reports of how things are going over there. And it doesn't sound too good. How things are going over in America with their reparations. Because they was given, they got 6 states, I believe. Yeah, see? Yeah. Yeah, they got those 6 states right there. That's what Farrakhan told them. They was listening to Farrakhan. Farrakhan promised them. They stay there, 6 states, right? Had their own land. And they can make reconciliation with the former slave master. They're not devils. They're not devils. They're human beings. They just had a rough, they were just, did some things wrong, but now they're going to make amends and make reparations. So 6 states, and in addition to that, they gave everybody $1 million. Everybody stayed $1 million. Right? Say, thank you, Farrakhan. They're so happy. Thank you, Farrakhan. Thank you, Farrakhan. Man, you got 6 states. That's what you promised us. We got 6 states. They're thanking you. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? And this was a year ago. They got the 6 states. Thank you, Farrakhan. Right? Everybody got $1 million. Everybody $1 million. And they're rejoicing. Oh man, they're so happy. Hey, we made it. We got America, man. We got reconciliation for a master. We got 6 states. Everybody got $1 million. We're all rich. That was a year ago when we left. So we're in Arabia. They're still back there in America. And now we're getting reports a year later. This was the way it was a year ago, man. They were so happy. They were so happy. Right? And now we get reports of what's going on right now. Let's see. Oops, it says a power failure. Great power failure in those 6 states. Power failure. And it's just those 6 states. Right? So, and now they had a big and massive, they came asking to turn the power. Well, why can't they do it? Oh, Farrakhan didn't train anybody. He was telling you about 6 states, but he never prepared you for them. So nobody knows how to do it. How to turn the power grid back on. So now he's begging, man, Master, can you come and turn this thing back on for us? I mean, you would think that if he told him 6 states to promise him that he would have prepared him for it, right? Their schools and education, whatever they needed for that. But I guess they didn't, because they say over there now he's begging the former master to come and turn the power back on. Isn't then what? I mean, this is all that's happening now. I mean, I'm getting these imports in now. A year later, it's like they're coming in every hour. Power grid failure, right? Then say, oops, crop failure. All of a sudden, there's no. They looked at the farmers when they done the farmers said, oh. So then, master, what's happening here? How come right? Our crop. They found that the land they gave them wasn't that fertile. A year later, nothing's growing. Crop failure. And now master, what's happening here? Right? And then, I mean, all these things, every hour that's coming in, right? And then they look, and they had, a year ago, they had plenty of food on the shelves, right? And now, they look there now, and all the food's gone. It's gone. And she said, what am I going to do here? Food's gone. The house is empty. So he said, Master, we need some food. Well, how come you can't produce your own food? I mean, you want your own country. You got your own states. That's your country. Then you run it. What are you calling us for? Right? So they're praying. And then, oops, no fuel. There's master, no fuel there. Well, you got to buy your fuel. You got to produce your own fuel. What you calling us for? You got your own 6 states now. What you calling us for? Go and get some fuel. You got money, right? You got your own states. So you got to get your own. What you calling us for? You said you wanted your own, so now you got it. And you got your reparation, so we don't owe you anything anymore. We don't owe you anything anymore, so what you calling us for? We don't owe you anything. You said you agreed to 6 states and $1 million per person. You took that instead of your inheritance, what you call the Abrahamic Covenant, Arabia. Your brothers and sisters, they left. They took that was offered to them. They took it, and you said no. I want this instead. So now you got it. So what you calling us for? Oh, no communications. Oh man. No communications, right? No medical facilities. So what's going on, Master? Wait a minute, hold on. What you calling us for? That's yours. You got to handle that stuff. You want us to handle it for you? You want independence, now you have it. I mean, wow, this stuff was coming every hour, man. Instead of like a year, they was celebrating. And now they're crying and begging the master, hey, look at all these problems here. I said, wait a minute, that's yours. Where'd you come about your problems? You have to work those out. Right? No transportation, I mean, no planes, or nowhere. We learned about fly the planes and drive the trucks and the boats and stuff and to go and get this stuff. What you done that for? You wanted this, you got it. So go ahead and train your own pilots, build your own planes, build your own boats and right? You see what I'm saying? Transportation, build your own trucks. What you calling for? Yeah, Master, we see this. You said you wanted 6 states, you got it. You want $1 million per person. That was the reparations. So now if you didn't pay people to take care of this, how's that our problem? You're independent now. You're really free now. Oops, no fuel, the gas station's empty. I can't drive, man. And no gas. Man, wow. All this stuff happened like for a year. They thought that everything was great, and all of a sudden everything ran out. So I guess what happened? Everything was there when they got it, and then it ran out. They had to, for them to replace the fuel, to get the farms going. So they was left with that stuff. The factory was full. I mean, warehouses full. Then you had to keep. They thought that was just going. I guess they thought it was just going to be there, just by itself. They didn't prepare for it. See, and they ain't trained any engineers and scientists and architects and stuff. They ain't, business. They didn't train anybody. So Farrakhan. He told you he's going to get this for you, but he didn't prepare you for it. He didn't get anybody to handle this stuff. So what was that all about? So now he asked the master, hey, don't call on me. You was here, you had it when you was here with me. You said you want independence, you wanted reparations, so you gave it to you. We're calling your brothers over there. They left, they handled their own business. You said you want to stay here, right? Don't have any professionals or technicians, scientists, doctors, none of that. See, I mean, that's what, because I mean, if you're going to set reparation, you should be preparing for that, right? So if he was telling you about reparation, you should be preparing for it. If he said, God said that's where he's going to get you, so if God told him he's going to get that for you, then he should, like when God told Noah there was a flood coming, to only build an ark, so he started building an ark. And so you should start preparing for the 6 states and the reparations, but apparently you didn't. And so now, the devil said, look, hold it. We want total separation. I mean, look, we don't want you to call us no more. We don't want you to call us no more. Because you're wearing us. You want your own country. You got your own land. Right? You got money, $1 million, all this stuff, right? And so now we got to protect your money and everything too? No, you have to create your own money. You have to do all these things, your own wealth, not ours. Right? So we're going to cut you off from that too. That's all economics. So they go and tell it. They tell all the people on all the white folks, right? Because all the black folks, now all the black folks is either in Arabia or in those 6 states. That's the solution. You had to be one way or the other. There couldn't be no integration, all that kind of stuff. That's the deal. You just said one or the other. So all the black folks are there, ain't no integration, all that kind of stuff, right? Black folks are there, one or the other, so they're there. So he said, okay, right? So they just say, we're going to take that money because we don't know what y'all doing over there. You have your own money, you have to find your own wealth. So what they do is they tell all the white folks, say, protect your money, right? Transfer your money into gold. Transfer all your dollars into gold. Right? Now remember, they gave everybody $1 million apiece. So everybody got $1 million apiece, right? And say transfer it to gold. And then what happens is that what they do is they start just printing money. White folks just start printing money. You understand what that means? That's inflation. Right? Because if you got $1 million of gold, a million ounces of gold, say a million ounces of gold, understand this, and you got 1 million certificates, then you say each certificate is worth 1 ounce. If you got 1 million ounces, each certificate is worth 1 ounce. Understand that? If you got 1 million ounces of gold and you got 1 million certificates, each one of those certificates is worth 1 million. If you want to say trade with the certificates, each one of the certificates is worth 1 ounce of gold. Right? But if you take and print, you say you got 1 million ounces of gold and you got 1 million certificates. Each one, but say you print twice as many certificates, you got 2 million. Well, then each certificate is only worth 50 cents now, because you got to connect that to the gold. Well, you print 4 times, then each one is worth a quarter. So the more you print, the less they worth, because those certificates has to equal what the gold is. You understand? So the more you print money, the less, right? The less they're worth. So if you print twice as much money, right, there's less gold. You understand? So $1 is worth 1 ounce of gold, which that's right. Then if you print double that amount of dollars, then each one's worth half an ounce. You understand? That's what printing money without increasing the wealth does. That's inflation. So what happens is they keep printing. They get down to where $100 is worth a penny. But see, that doesn't affect their people. They told to protect their money because they transfer their money to gold. So gold still has its value. It's just the dollars don't. It still got the same amount of gold. But the dollars, they get down to a penny. So you can't buy it. You had $1 million, now your $1 million worth of $5. That's what all this worth, $1 million. Hardly worth anything. Hey, that's our money. You got to have your own money. You control your own wealth. You can't keep coming to us what you're doing. And you think they wouldn't do that? Yeah, you've been a Gaza lately? You see what happened to the trees they made with the so-called natives? Kept telling me you had a forked tongue because they kept making trees with them, then they broke the trees. And took their land and genocide and everything else. But no, they wouldn't do that to you. See? Because now you have, your money's worth nothing. They haven't lost anything. Because once that money's worthless, it's no good, right? Then you burn it up, throw it away, it's worth nothing. The people still got gold. And even if they take it, hold on to money, hope to increase again, they just use another different certificate, use another form of money. So it's still worth nothing. That $1 million you had, you was all happy with it, now it's probably worth maybe $1. So you can't buy anything $1. Plus the economy's collapsed because everything is failing, and you don't know how to repair it. You don't have the communications. You don't know how to do any of this stuff. You're not an engineer, build a house. You don't know how to do anything because Farrakhan didn't. Right? He didn't prepare you. He told you he'll give you 6 days. He told you, listen to me, right? So now you're broke, and your economy is gone. You have no food, no electricity, no power, anything. Right? It's not their fault. They gave you what you asked for. You saw out your inheritance for that. And then they closed the border. Because you're going to try to get back into America now. We want to come back in, Master. No, we don't want you back in here. We sorry, we want to come in. No. That's what you chose. You stay there. They closed the border so you can't get back in here. You can't get back in America, into what you call your land now? Swaziland or something? Farrakhan. Maybe you call it Traveland. Farrakhan. They met the Farrakhan. Right? So they close the borders. You can't. Because now you're hungry and everything else. Your money's worthless. And, oh God, come back, Master. I'll come back work for you. I'll work for Popeyes. I'll do anything you want. No, we remember, now blacks either they over in Arabia or they in that land. There are no blacks in America, any places, just in that land that you 6 days. And now you're starving. You ain't got no. Your money's worthless. Nothing works, and they close the border. Right? And then you see Master, he on the phone. He talking to the guy that you kept treating, help you. Hey, we finally got rid of them niggas. Finally got rid of them. Finally got rid of them. See on the phone. Yeah, it worked. We sold them no reparations. We sold them that used car. They turned the miles back and everything else, and they bought it. See, they could have had a BMW. They could have had a Lamborghini. They sold that for a BMW that looked good. Damn thing didn't work. And now they're starving, living in tents. Praying. And so what? Then what next? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do, Farrakhan? You told us to take reparations, so we did. But they gave us everything we asked for. What we gonna do, Farrakhan? What we gonna do? Pray, 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 pray. That's his answer. Pray, pray, pray. That's your reparations. Like Elijah Muhammad said, he had a big picture. We leaving, and blacks staying on the shore, the ones stay behind, and those whooping their ass. Right? Because they thought you think they want to give you some land and take care of you? You think they want to do that? And go bankrupt, give everybody $1 million. How much that is? If it's 17 million, if it's 17 million times 17 million times a million is like $17 trillion, I think, something like that there. And they're going to do all that for you. They want to get rid of you. So now they've succeeded. Because they closed the border. And what you going to do? You want to fight to come out? They closed the border. They got the military around there. They finally got rid of you. No more black problem, no more Negro problem anymore. One group's out of here, another group that's here. They're gone, and our hands are clean. We gave them what they wanted. Well, anything. Okay. God honors contracts. Remember, he honored the contract with Jacob. Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of soup to Jacob, which was Esau's inheritance, and God honored it. Okay, Jacob, it's yours. You're the one. And that's the deal. Because he ain't your friend. Pharaoh ain't your friend. Pray, pray, pray. That's the answer. And this homeland you was promised, you rejected it. So now you got what you asked for. So if they gave you reparations today or tomorrow, how would that scenario not play out like that? Well, they say, okay, you got it. Tell me how the scenario wouldn't play out like that. And tell me why they wouldn't do it. They love you so much, they're going to say, okay, we're going to take care of them. I mean, why should they go out their way to take care of you when you was right here? You was working at Popeyes and then they get up on Section 8, all that stuff right here where because they're trying to get rid of that stuff right now. Trump's trying to get all that stuff right now. Because they're closing on you don't realize it. Anyway, that's just, that's what's happening over in America. Wow. Of course, come here. Disaster over there. And, I just got a call. Oh, wait, hold on. Really? You serious? Our ambassador just got a call from I don't know what they call it Conland or something. I forgot what it's something they call it right there. That 6th day. They begged us to come and help. Can they come over here? Can we come and get them? Really? Can we come and get them? Bring them? Oh no. Now he went and asked Master Farad Muhammad, right? He said, no, hell no. We ain't going to get them. And I agree with that. Yeah, the Master said he said, let's call him, and he passed the word to Master Farad Muhammad. Master Muhammad said, send him back. Master, no, we can't come and get you. You made your choice, live with it. But die, whatever the situation is. Wow. I can't believe that. They actually, sent a message over. I don't know how they did. I don't have any communication with it. Somehow they got the information over to him. Said, we please come and get him. Nope. Said, no, tell him no. And don't waste time communicating with us anymore. You got your land. You got your reparations. You got your money. You got Farrakhan as your leader. Yeah, tell him. Talk to him. Let him straighten out for you. He didn't want to sell you the idea. He was a salesman. So you on that idea of reparations. We told you. Right? Suleiman, right? He was the messenger to you, told you, look, man, let's go home. You said no. You chose not to. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's a sad story. But I guess that's it. Is that it? Well, so they might get more reports on. Okay, he says that was Master Prophet Muhammad's final decision, and I think they closed communications off from there. So, like I said, brothers and sisters, we got those brides that came in. All that came in today, man. I came in fast. After a whole year. Total collapse. And they're begging it. Somebody help them. We can't do it. Maybe Master help you. We won't do it. Assalamu alaikum. Update, brothers and sisters, got another late report in that they said, well, if you want to come and get us, we at least send some food. They begged, said, please send some food. Master Muhammad said, we got to send them a damn thing, nothing, zero. He said, please just send some food. No, I just got that in. He says, if you can't come and get us, please send some food. He says, no. He refused. That's the report. I just got the information from the ambassador. He said, they sent that. He's made to me. He says, no. He said, please, just please send some food. He said, no way. You made your choice. Case closed. Okay. Just got that in, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.